And we're back, the TAKful Creator here. Okay, let's get started. May God the Creator bless us. May God the Redeemer heal us. May God the Holy Spirit enlighten us. Give us eyes to see, ears to hear, and hands to do the work of God. Feet to walk the path of justice, and mouths to teach good news. May the angel of peace watch over us and lead us to the reign of God. Ashe, 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 ashe. Okay, so immediately when putting these cards out, it's like this dove card wanted to fall out. Okay, so what are we talking about when we are expressing the dove-like energy? Okay, well, first and foremost, we're talking about relationships, right? Most doves that you see come in pairs, and those pairs are usually symbolic of a union, right? A divine union, and that can be established by this D that's here, right? D is listen in numerology, right? Listening to the divine. Okay, now with these doves, because this card kept falling out, it seems like the energy is really around maybe twin flames or soul unions. Okay, now I'm learning that some twin flame connections can evolve to soul unions depending on both members' soul growth, during the course of their time in the 3D. So we can just encompass all of those positive or divine relationships under this umbrella. Okay, now we can see that it has something to do with obviously a girl and a guy, so this is more of a hetero type of relationship, or we can be speaking about energy. Okay, so whether the gender is the same or opposite, we're talking about there's a feminine or more feminine like energy here, and then there's more masculine like energy here. But we see that there's some kind of evolution that is necessary, because we're getting girl and boy opposed to like man and woman, right, which symbolizes more maturity. So there's something that is government involved here, a setup. Now this setup has everything to do with the Cancer, or someone who isn't moving in their Cancer-like energy, and this is shown by an extreme Tower moment that is happening currently. So usually Tower moments, you get some kind of foreshadowing, some foreboding nature, because you maybe failed a test, you are getting karma back. But in this moment, it's kind of like a random Tower moment, like you didn't get foreshadowing for this. Okay, and this is a Tower moment to your side mission, whatever that side mission is. Okay, so this side mission may have something to do with a baby girl, some form of a baby, right, from 0 to 3. Now that can be like a pet. It doesn't really mean it's like a physical human. It could just mean like something that is a girl. So it could be like a pet guinea pig, or a rabbit, a cat, a dog, something like that. Okay, but there's some kind of divine blindness with a psychology expert, okay, because of a divine sexual interaction. Now, because of this divine sexual interaction card, we can see now that maybe this baby girl has everything to do with the physical baby, right? So maybe someone is pregnant, or someone just had a baby, because we're getting the ages from 0 to 3, and I'm getting like this is the individuals are young. So the parents of this baby girl, they're young, they're very young, and I see that's why we have this girl or boy here. So the government is involved in some kind of operation, right? And the divine is kind of escaping the chosen individuals, you escaping your visuals, because you're too adept at reading patterns. You have a skill and proclivity for seeing the signs and synchronicities around you, and using that foreshadowing nature to prepare for your life, which is a positive thing, right? That's the whole point of the divine guidance. But in order for this manifestation, right, this beautiful union to truly come into full scope, if that makes sense, like this is the beginning stages of it. So in order for it to kind of go into full scope, there has to have this Tower moment. All right, this Tower moment to, now that we see, this Cancer with the baby girl, maybe we're getting more of a motherly figure here. Okay, so maybe a motherly figure who isn't moving very motherly, or an energy that needs to nurture or take care of the mothering aspect. Okay, because we all have to mother ourselves, we all have to father ourselves. That's the whole point of reparenting, but your educational abilities are not really going to help you here. It's more in feeling. Okay, so that's why this is, I wouldn't say a divine test, but a very new venture for you. okay? Because it doesn't take full analytics for you to understand. It takes something a little bit less logical to understand, okay? And for someone who maybe is like autistic or has ADHD, for someone who has other mental capabilities, because we're not going to call them disabilities, we'll say mental capabilities, it may be a little bit more difficult for them to see the emotional side or the non-physical side of things, right? But that is what this Tower moment is calling on. Okay, so there's this Scorpio who is not answering or giving any kind of response to an energy, right? Because they're in timeout. But this is kind of like the GOAT move, because someone needed to, I wouldn't say police this energy, but someone needed to be the authoritarian or the authoritative figure here, okay? But it's also coming from someone who I would say is knowledgeable about their craft, kind of, they have esteem behind them, okay? So we can see that so far we have 1, 2, 3, 4 seemingly disjointed stories that all tie into one, okay? And we're gonna pull more cards to see how it will fall into one timeline, but right now I'm seeing like bits and pieces of one massive story, okay? So it's currently Saturday, and we see that something's going to happen on a Saturday night, most likely caring for elderly or caring for people who are older than you. It's going to be kind of like a deja vu moment, and it's going to seem like you're seeking praise, okay, because you're kind of hyper fixated on stuff. Possibly you're hyper fixated on a turnaround, okay? So because of a Tower moment, you're too heavily focused on the rectification, the fixing of this Tower moment, okay? But what it's going to do is cause some kind of indigestion, and that's where we get this colon health, okay? Indigestion that can be felt between you and your partner, being this twinning, the doves, this twinning divine union vibe, okay? But it's a realization that you both are going through the same thing at the same time, and you kind of have to be hush about it. Okay? And I'm also getting that, you know, 2 peas in a pod. If we're talking about a baby girl, maybe we're talking about, like, there's more than one child present. Okay? And that's what you have to be shush about. That's what you have to be quiet about. Okay? And that is where this divine blindness comes into play, because if this needs to be kept hush, then it would take the universe kind of blocking people's intuition, blocking people's other clairs, blocking people from the signs and synchronicities that would allow them into the dove's lifestyle, right? Because at the end of the day, this is a divine experience, but people will try to move it more into this Tower moment kind of vibe, and that's not necessary, right? Yeah, and they'll want to kind of kill / die whatever has evolved kind of for this dove-like energy. Now with this green vibe, it's not very lucky, right? It's in the return. So maybe someone, you know, wanted to kill / die, and that manifestation came into reality, right? And so someone was crying for help. Now that's where the lack of luck comes into play, because this cry for help wasn't acknowledged. It wasn't like reciprocated. So someone was crying out, but no one returned the call. So there were some kind of quick endings. Okay, now this could be the life of the person ended very abruptly. The person stopped crying for help very quickly, or the complete situation ended very abruptly. And to me, I'm getting a very like grave vibe from this. Like we're talking about the kill / die. It's like, if this is over, baby girl, you know, because technically the kill / die, the cards are directly over baby girl. So like, if this is because of it, and you know, quick endings, it's kind of giving me a sense of long-lasting, irrelevant information of self-destruction. Future thoughts, jailhouse on an early Tuesday, and someone's gonna have to let go of material items. Skunk vibes, which means that that level of aggression, that air of attitude, uppity or privilege that you have, it has to be removed. And I'm saying you as the person that is afflicting the chosen. I'm not saying you as in the person watching, unless, you know, it fits. But yeah, we just know that this was a night gone wrong, and someone's telling you do not engage because this is a self-destructive or injurious act. People were offering irrelevant information, and instead of there being quick endings, it actually was a bit more long-lasting. So what I'm gauging here is that there was two different stories being given. Okay, so one story, you know, expressed a death that was very quick and kind of sad confirmation. But then another story talks about, you know, someone kind of fabricating details, harming themselves and others, basically like wanting to depreciate something, so wanting to take away over an extended period of time. So people kind of like drag something out. That's what I'm getting, like dragging something out. And this has to do with a romantic love or partnership with a Leo that is focused on the birds. Now we can talk about birds in a few different ways. Like, so birds are symbolic of, you know, people with a like mindset. You know, birds of a feather flock together. Birds are also like a euphemism for thoughts or hoes or whatever terminology you want to use there. And then a group of birds is called a murder. So whichever one, you know, ties to you specifically, I would say take that and use it for the rest of the reading. But I'm gauging more that the bird symbolism here is the murder, right? And I'm not gauging like the murder is like of this romantic partnership or because of jealousy or envious of this romantic partnership, because we're talking about the doves. I'm getting more like there was some kind of rift, some kind of issue between partners, right? And it could be because of romance or because of love. Now, I'm also not gauging like this person was in Leo energy, but they may not be a Leo. So the Leo may not be their sun sign. It may not be hyperactive at all for them. I'm gauging more like they were in just a very bold energy, right? Kind of like a lion, but without the roar. Okay, just with the feeling of the lion. That's why we get Leo, because, you know, they walk around with this, like the sun revolves around them, even though, you know, their hyperactive sign is their sun sign. So yeah, gonna leave that alone. I got a lot of Leos in my life. Anyway, let's see what else we need to know here. Some kind of walrus vibes. Borrowed scenery. It's a comedy show. Justice is served or will be served. And this would be offered by a home-cooked meal and a lot of luck. But that luck is not going to be offered without some kind of personal investment. Okay? This could be with a seasoned woman over 40, but just know you are divinely protected. And this is also with the seasoned man over 40. Okay, these two individuals, maybe they're a couple. This could be that romantic partnership that we were talking about, that's separate from this doves, because we see here that the girl and boy is symbolizing a couple that is maybe younger or a bit more mature, immature as an age. And then we see here that we have a couple that is a bit more seasoned, quote unquote older, over the age of 40. But this couple is a part of what's divinely protecting this dove-like energy. Okay, but there was a lot of tea that was spilled. Okay, so the information on this kill / die, this murder, this, you know, do not engage in whatever has gone wrong on some Saturday night that offered a lot of quick endings opposed to, you know, long lasting whatever, because we realized like this was just a front. The real story is what's on the board. Okay, but respectfully, don't try it. So the energies, the season energies are going to offer more of the protective energy that the 3D is offering, but this way, that the 5D is offering, but this way you can see it in the 3D. Okay, now it's kind of baffling that the information that was spilled in this tea actually happened, especially with this dove-like energy. Okay, and that is what's creating kind of like a ticking bomb. I saw the tick/leech card that fell out, but it didn't fall out right side up. Okay, so it's kind of like offering a bit of information, but it doesn't want you to give the definition. Okay, so I'm getting that here. It's like they want you to know, but they don't really want you to do something about it, right? Even though it was a cry for help, the cry for help wasn't returned. Okay, there was some kind of, I'm getting emptiness after the call. So that's what's kind of baffling about it too, that it was kind of a miss or lack opportunity for maybe bystanders or for people to maybe have a savior complex. But again, we're pushing the do not engage. So I'm guessing this was a tower moment that was necessary for whatever side mission that was happening. Now, what do we mean by side mission, right? It just means that lessons, goals, objectives that you need to meet in order for you to be on the path of your purpose, those are your side missions. Okay, so for example, you need to learn how to speak, right? And walk and talk to multiple people, not just yourself, right? You learning that skill is not your life purpose, but it helps you with defining what your life purpose is. That's called a side mission. Yes, it's very important, almost more important than your purpose, because you wouldn't be able to understand what your purpose is without the basics, but that would be considered a side mission. Okay, so you can say like skill refining, learning a new hobby, learning a new trade, learning a new perception, idea for how you need to move, how you need to shape yourself. Okay, and you can get that this miss or lack of opportunity is with a Taurus specifically. So far we have 2 signs in the reading that have fell out. That is Leo, where their hyperactive sign is their sun sign, all about them, and then Taurus, where their hyperactive sign is their Venus, which is all about love. Okay, so you can see the juxtaposition between the mind and heart just based on the hyperactive signs that fell out. Okay, so someone is stargazing, they're considered underdeveloped, and that's the reason why they're experiencing these divine tests, but that is what's going to offer them the ability to be like maybe the seasoned couple that's able to be divinely protected and divinely protect other individuals. Okay, this is kind of like, this is where they are now, or this is where you are now, and this is where you're going to be, type of thing. But it takes, you know, passing this divine test. Okay, so maybe this baby from 0 to 3 was born in January. Maybe something was born in January, something happened in January to spark whatever is going on right now. So I guess that this is not a new problem. This is kind of a recurring problem that is augmenting just so that there can be a resolution. Because sometimes when you get the same problem on repeat, you lose the interest in wanting to fix it. So it's like the problem has to get larger, it has to multiply in order for you to give the focus that is necessary to completely resolve it. And that's what I'm seeing here by the information that was given. Okay, it's only becoming larger so that you can feel like it's important enough to fix in the moment. Because if you don't fix in the moment, remember, it's a side mission. It's the prerequisite for you to be in your purpose. If you don't pass this test, you won't be on the path that is purposeful for your skill set, purposeful for how your mind works, and, you know, the ideal self that you believe, you know, you dream about, or you think that you are. Okay, I don't want to put words in your mouth or anything, but just know that this was kind of a nightmare in real life, but it released a lot of karma. Okay, again, with this Leo vibe, it was a criminal crime with someone who's a boob. Okay, with someone who is just mentally dilapidated, or they had a moment of mental dilapidation. Okay, so that could happen because of intoxicants, that can happen because of stress, it can happen because of lack of sleep, or it can happen because you have split personalities. I know a lot of guys that in one moment they seem like the smartest person in the world, and the next moment it's like they're they're a bunch of rubble. It's just like, oh my gosh, where'd your brain go? And sometimes they have to recollect themselves in order for their brain to function properly. Okay, don't get me wrong, it happens for girls too, but I mean, like, the guys, it's really like in your face. It's like, oh my gosh, 5 seconds ago we were talking about academics, and now you laughing at boobs on a calculator. Like, come on now, bro, grow up, bro. But just know that this is because of a spiritual war that was already happening in the 5D, and it's trickling now down into the 3D because there's a lack of awareness on one or multiple parties' part. Okay, so the spiritual war is showing up more like a genocide, but it's because it's a revolution. So you have to kill all the negative energies so that the positive energies can thrive. It's the same thing like if you were planting in a garden, you wouldn't plant next to weeds, right? You wouldn't plant your daffodils next to weeds, because they would suck up all the nutrients and your daffodils would die. You know, it's just kind of obvious. It's offering me a personal annoyance. So someone slumped or gone due to a celebration of conceptualized content and moonlight energy. Okay, so maybe someone went out last night, or decided to clear their mind in some kind of way. That's where we get this conceptualized content. So moonlight energy, I'm like, I don't want to say you're calling on the moon, but you're kind of going out when it's dark out, and this is when like negative energies usually thrive the most. And it's like you're not really fully understanding what's going on. It's like, I'm guessing this person has to be inebriated, right? They're not, I wouldn't say they're drunk or something, but like they're just not fully sober. And because of that, it's like their brain is not fully processing things that are around them. It's processing memories and feeding it into the reality that's happening, right? So let's say if they're walking down the street, right? And, you know, this street is not familiar, but because of this conceptualized content, they're looking around and this building reminds them of a building when they were in college, right? So then it feels like one of the blocks when they were in college. Now they're starting to emanate in that energy because, you know, they are seeing an environment similar to a memory, and they're kind of moving in that memory, right? That's what I'm gauging here, like, and it's due because it's because they were celebrating something, right? And it's gonna leave them slumped or gone, most likely, maybe because of this murder or whatever the case is, or because they're just fully lit, right? But this is going to be a divine occurrence. It's going to attract the necessary blessings, right? That is intended for this party, right? Something that's going to happen on the Lord's Day, or this is going to be shown on the Lord's Day, where one or multiple parties is going to call on an angel because people are going to be, you know, playing games, right? And now this could be sports games, or this could be betting on sports. This could be talking about sports. This could be wanting to go play sports, but, you know, playing games. People are upset and things are boiling over. So like, it's like people are not on the same page, I'm getting. But this is a divine encounter just to see how people kind of strategize and recollect themselves after such a horrible event, right? Or such a massive event, right? So if there's a celebration, maybe crazy things are going to happen at the celebration because people are intoxicated. Well, it's Saturday. I mean, it's a nice day in the summer. I assume people are going to be partying in some regard. But someone who's a school bus attendant, so maybe someone who has children or, you know, focuses on children heavily, is going to break up some kind of fight. Someone who was born in August, because we keep getting this Leo vibe, but most of the Leo cards already fell out. So maybe this Leo energy is going to be the one that is breaking up a fight or needs to break up a fight. Okay, but this is going to be a divine encounter, and people are going to be called to strategize on how to reconcile, if that's necessary, or how to just appease the situation. And that is also a part of the divine test. Now this has everything to do with an LGBT member or ally. I'm getting member like past tense, but definitely get ally, or someone who wants to be a member, but because they're maybe more seasoned in this connection, they can't be, type of thing. So they're a friend to the community, and they're going to be the ones to kind of offer this kind of shift for this person, I'm guessing one of the doves, this girl-like energy who is truly skilled but doesn't like the chase. Okay, seems mixed up, is not really communicating, seems stable, has pretty outdated concepts, but they're feeding these people outdated concepts. And that's where we also get the concessions. Okay, so maybe this older energy, and we're going to see this more so on a Sunday, maybe this older energy is acting like a girl teen. Okay, so this is just a new energy that we're adding to this. So yeah, there must be a party or something happening, right? There's going to be some kind of protection from candle magic, because just people are just stank, literally. And then we have this lions in reverse vibe, okay, where you're going to have to refine your power, basically focus your rage or your aggression on a particular topic, and just make sure that that topic is just known, right? So like if you're upset with one of your boundaries being crossed, just focus on that boundary. Don't bring up nothing else, just that boundary only. Why? Because again, people are not in the right state of mind, and they're looking to exasperate a situation because of some self-destructive habits. But that is not the whole story. Okay, this irrelevant information of bringing up other past things is going to have the quote-unquote conversation on your boundaries, right, become a little bit longer than necessary. That's what we're talking about, exacerbating it, and then a solution really can't be offered because the problem is now multiplied, the problem is more complex. Okay, so in order for you to end this karma, take this divine test as establishing your boundary and then walk away. I wouldn't say cool. Don't be chill while walking away, because then people are going to continue to disrespect you. I would say definitely like let them know what you're going to do, and then just stand by it. If people don't react or people don't respond to your boundaries in a proper way, remove yourself. That's the only thing you can do, right? And this is coming from personal experience. If you try to do anything else, you might be murdered. That's not funny, but hey, it's the reality. Oh, look at that hyena, we gotta laugh. It's the reality of other situations, right? So let me teach you so you don't gotta teach yourself, type of thing. Okay, in essence, you'll be walking into a trap if this has to do with children in a negative way. Okay, but if it has to do with children in a positive way, by all means, you might get that 3D praise that we saw fall out before. But again, you have to remain kind of esteemed. You have to remain like the goat in this situation, because people are trying to view you as like an immature person in this divine situation, when in actuality you're the only person, realization, that can see the full story. That's the Capricorn vibes. You're the only person that can see all of this, whereas all these other people are kind of on the table moving with it. They can only see so far, whereas you have this a bird's eye view, because we saw the bird's eye view, where you're kind of like looking over the situation. Now I wouldn't say you're gatekeeping, but you know, whatever information about social media, foreplay, or sex, or whatever, fake or phony foreplay or sex, someone just leaving and not really being pure in a situation, offering an insanity plea, maybe has Virgo energy attached to them, or isn't moving in a very perfectionist vibe, is kind of being unhinged here, because Virgos are a fixed sign, but I'm getting more unhinged look. Okay, but just know whatever magic has been returned to sender, and the people who were quote unquote playing dead are no longer playing dead. Okay, come to life, talking about, you know, the realization, quote unquote, of this divine test, this tower moment, and why this all came about, how this came about, you know, the learning lessons and everything. Is kind of like coming out of a cocoon. That's what I'm getting here, right? Moving more in this role model light, right? This role model vibe. And we know that there's some kind of digestive issues that we already talked about, probably from a 3 to 5 course meal, because of this party, right? So don't overeat while you're there, because that's also going to cause some kind of disruption in your ability to digest information. Okay, so your physical body is a representation of the ethereal, so things that are non-tangible, that you can't see and stuff like that, that you can just talk about. So your emotions, you really just talk about them more than seeing them, right? Unless you're looking in a mirror. So that's what I'm gauging here. So like if your emotions are not being understood properly, right, it can offer you digestive issues. Now you're going to blame it on eating too much. You're going to blame it on the itis. You're going to blame it on food poisoning. But in actuality, right, it's the inability to process your emotions. Okay? You kind of got to move out of this bold energy and move more in a vulnerable energy that is not so sensitive. Ugh, it's not the easiest thing to do, but understanding that you are in connection with the divine, you have the assistance to do that. You just have to have the awareness that that's what's necessary. Okay? And then you'll get the necessary help. Do-do-do-do-do. So I'm not even getting Christmas. I'm getting like day 25. So it is July. So maybe something that about around the 24th or 25th of June. That is kind of cusping into July, or maybe this is upcoming, a party or celebration that's going to happen on the 24th or 25th of July. But it's going to give somebody a complex, this party. Okay? And whatever happened in April that was untrustworthy, that had to do with inner child healing of the super simp, I'm gauging that this has to do with this divine or dove-like couple here. Just know that, or with an SUV or truck, material access is granted. So although you may not see it fabricated right now, the recompense, right, for you letting go of whatever items you had to let go will be charged. Okay, so you will receive double, triple, quadruple, depending on, you know, how positive your efforts were since the removal of said material items. Okay, and this could be given by a Libra, or this could just be the justice in the situation, right? The ethereal justice offering you recompense for all the craziness that you had to endure with this tower moment, right? In order for you to again successfully transmute the side missions so that you can be in your purpose, right? With this twinning and this dove-like energy, right? And being quiet about it, because you know negative energy likes to multiply, and you don't want it to multiply by ripping away your positive energy. Okay, so I believe that's all. I will see you soon. Until the next.